Hello and welcome to the Den. My name's Eric and it's Friday. This week it's question and answer week and you guys have submitted a ton of questions, so I'm going to dive right in. Frank O'Brien asks, when at Chipotle do you go with chicken, carnitas, or steak? And Tommy Howell adds, or sofritas, because my husband's vegan. So I have a tendency to mix it up a little bit. So I will most often go with chicken. Carnitas, I don't tend to go for. Not that I don't like pork. I like pork well enough, but I don't ever get it at Chipotle. But I would say chicken is probably like 80% of the time I'll get chicken and black beans. Then the other like 27% I'll get the steak and pinto beans. And it's always that combination. It's never a variation of that. It's always chicken and black bean or steak and pinto bean, and then I'll maybe get sofritas or carnitas. I've had sofritas maybe twice, but it's not my bag. John Dickinson asks, have you ever had a supernatural experience? Yes, I've actually had several over the course of my life, all of them ghostly related things. I'm going to try and make this real short. So when I was a kid, I was 5 years old, we moved into our first house. We'd been living in an apartment, and this was a house that was right next to my grandparents. And when we moved in, my dad was like, hey, there's this big slab of marble on the front porch. And he's like, wow, the people that lived here before us must have, had some purpose for it. Well, we turned it over, and it's somebody's fucking tombstone. So, yeah. So what happened was, the people that owned the house before us had a son who died in a motorcycle accident, but they were too poor to afford a headstone of their own for their son. So they stole one from the cemetery to chisel the name off and replace it with their son's. So, yeah. So growing up, we had two ghosts in the house. And one of them was the guy whose tombstone was stolen, and the other one was the kid who died in the motorcycle accident. The kid who died in the motorcycle accident was decapitated, and he had horrible, like, dark energy thing going on. It scared the absolute terribly fuck out of me. And the old guy whose tombstone was stolen was just, like, a nice old dude. I think his name was George. Sometimes he would fuck with us a little bit, but more often than not, the fuckery came from the motorcycle ghost. And let me tell you, when you're 6 or 7 years old, 5, 6, 7 years old, and you're seeing, like, invisible people in motorcycle clothes, it scares the fuck out of you, and your parents are like, what the fuck is going on? Ghosts. I've experienced ghosts in my life. Roberto asks, how many pillows do you sleep with? 6. I'll tell you why. So I have 4 underneath of me, and it's like 1 on the bed, my arm, and then there's another one over here in case I roll over, and then there's 2 kind of diagonal that I kind of curl my head up onto on either side, and then there's an extra 2 in case I have a visitor. Bobby Hill asks, what's the funniest penis-shaped thing that you have ever seen? So I used to work at Chiquita Banana. You know where this is going. Every Tuesday we got a fruit delivery, and you got free bananas in the office at Chiquita. And so there was this one shipment, this one time, that I swear to God, all of the fruit was like 10 inches long. It was like massively huge, like super thick bananas, and I was just like, I did not do anything with the fruit because you don't stick fruit in places that it doesn't belong. But I had a moment. Superfan Michael Varvel asks, Eric, I love the fact that you're a librarian. Thank you. What do you like the most about your job? I am in a really interesting position at my job because I do event planning for the library, and so I get to meet all these famous authors. Like, if you are my Facebook friend, and we've met in person, you probably are my Facebook friend, then you've seen these streams of people like Janet Mock and George Clinton and Pearl Clegg and like people that Marion Barry that I just happen to have met as a course of my job. So like meeting famous people, I'm not like a huge star fucker or anything, but like, I think it's so awesome that I help bring in famous people to the library and help them sell their books, sign their books, to get people involved in reading. Chris Colfer from Glee came to the library. It's like, ah. So, yes. So, for me, the famous people at the library is super fun. Kevin Heathcote asks, if you were a stripper, what would be the song you would dance to? I would dance to Wicked Games by The Weeknd. Robin Mansions asks, when was the last time you masturbated? This morning, around 7 a.m. That's a normal thing for me. Daniel M. asks, what's the best way to get over crippling shyness when all you want to do is whore it up? I would say, be a badass online. Because you can always do stuff in text that you can't say in person, you know? You're always bolder on the internet. That's why we have so many fucking trolls online. You know, so there's a really great episode of Queer as Folk where Emmett, who's the girliest queen on the show, pretends online to be this badass dom top daddy, right? And he meets this guy, and he's like, sub pig, blah, 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 right? And they don't know what they look like. They don't know who they're talking to. And when the guy shows up, and it's Emmett, is like, you know, dom top, you know, and this sub pig is like this like leather daddy, right? They have like this moment, and then they just kind of say, fuck it, let's do it. And they have amazing sex. So you never know. I say, go ahead, be who you want to be online, and then when the time comes, carry it through, just like it's you, because it is you. So that's my video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you have more questions and you want more answers, please go down into the crotch and leave me a question, or if you have a comment about anything that I told you on this video, please feel free to leave it there. You can post stuff to YouTube or Facebook. I'll be checking them both tomorrow. It's also Independence Day weekend here in the United States, and I live in our nation's capital, and it's going to be a big, huge hootenanny blowout here in D.C. There's going to be fireworks, and the Foo Fighters are playing, and there's all kinds of crazy shit going on this weekend. There's a big festival down on the National Mall. I'm going to go and try to check out some of that stuff tomorrow because I had the day off. Haha. And I'll be posting some pictures, so hopefully you'll get to see some pictures of Independence Day in D.C. And I'll see you all again next week. Cheers!